Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Mornings with Marva, where authenticity lives and thrives to create a space of growth, healing, and joy. I am your host, Andrea Lawful Sanders, and each day we will cover the topics that are informative and engaging while learning from each other. Good morning to each and every one of you. It is Friday, May 30th. I cannot believe we are now officially at the end of May. Good morning, Marguerite. Good morning, my darling. We're officially at the end of May, and we'll look around on Sunday. It will be June 1st. Unfortunately for us, or maybe fortunately for us here in Pennsylvania, we have not had much sun. It has been raining and raining and raining, and what has happened is our plants are soaked. They're telling me now that the plants are overwatered. Well, there's nothing I can do about it because it's God's rain. And on top of that, it's cold. It is cold. We have been, our temperatures have been floating around the 60s, which is very unusual for this time of year. Good morning, Shaquilla. Very unusual for this time of year. And so we're trying to navigate it as best as we can. The good news in all of that is that we do not have to turn on our air conditioners, and we do not have to water our plants, turn on to water our plants. And we should probably have a good stock between our fruits and vegetables. Good morning, Alexandra. If the fruit isn't rotting underneath all that water. So we are literally trying to navigate that piece right now. I have this morning on the air with me Council Member Anthony Phillips. Dr. Phillips will be on at 6:45 or 6:40. He'll be on at 6:40. And State Rep Darisha Parker will be on at 7 a.m. Good morning, Nakia. I am literally trying to have conversations with them around the budget, what's happening now because we're at the end of the season, where they've been working on the budget and what's going on there. And plus other breaking news. There's been a lot of random, and I'm not sure if they're so random, violence in Philadelphia at this point. Folks are just losing their minds. I'll give you a little bit of the news before they come on. I also began looking up the key issues in the Pennsylvania State House, and something is going on with Google. I'm telling you, this GPT chat AI is trying to figure out how to pull all that information together. And the more we feed it, the more it does what it's supposed to do. But I looked up the top 5 key issues in Pennsylvania in the last 7 days, and it gave me something from 2021. And I was like, see, this is why you got to do your own research. Anyway, here we are, right? Trying to navigate all of this. Let me do a little bit of the news and see what is happening here, because there's some things I want to talk to Councilmember Phillips and State Rep Darisha Parker about that I will not address until they get there. There was a school board meeting at for the school district of Philadelphia yesterday. I have gotten more calls from folks than the law should allow about the school district of Philadelphia. One of the main issues that they're having is there are 3 schools that are giving them heartburn. One of them is King, and that's the calls that I've been getting from folks, random people who I had never met and I'm not friends with on social media, have been inboxing me saying, thank you. Somebody needed to bring this to light because it has been ignored. So King is at the top of the list along with Fells School. Something is going on over there. And Kappa School with the principal, who happens to be a male, and I got a whole manifesto about all the things that are happening there. I almost fell out of my seat when I read some of this stuff. And I mean, this is public information. Let me pull up some of this and so I can let you know. And it's just an interesting thing that's going on. So Kappa will get a retired principal back amid ongoing turmoil that includes an intruder entering the building. Now, the stuff that I was reading about Kappa, again, this is Kristen, just make sure I miss Kristen. Yep, it's Kristen Graham, because she's the one that covers all the educational stuff in Philadelphia. It was a 7-page what that's going on. The difference between Kappa and Martin Luther King High School is that the parents at Kappa are not having any of this. The parents at Martin Luther King High School are so overwhelmed and overworked. And what they're doing is quietly removing their children because they're saying that they can't contact the principal. They don't know, when they try to reach out, et cetera, et cetera. These these folks came to the school board from Kappa and let all the dirty laundry out. And so that's how the Philadelphia Inquirer was able to cover some of that stuff. But needless to say, the same thing that's going on at King, similar things are happening at this place, right? So let me give you the top issues of what's going on with Kappa. Let me see if I can read this. All right, so it says, in the days since the Inquirer detailed turmoil at the magnet school, enrollment falling, teachers leaving, toxic internal policies, accusations of racism and safety lapses, according to more than a dozen staff, parents, and teachers, more changes have followed. At Martin Luther King High School, I believe 2 of the assistant principals are leaving this year. And some of their top teachers are walking out this year. Same things happening. They include, she says, a guest interim principal has temporarily replaced Kimberly Bird, the assistant principal, who the staff, parents, and teachers who spoke to the Inquirer said has a combative leadership style and a penchant for weaponizing students against faculty and students she does not like. Bird has been using sick time off for weeks, staff said. A respected former Kappa principal, John Whaley, is expected to return to the school at the end of the month to coach and support Principal Alonzo Fulton. Whaley spent 2 decades at Kappa, 11 of them as principal. The school will not lose as many teaching positions next year as was initially planned in response to declining enrollment. Officials will conduct a safety audit after an unauthorized person entered the school last week. Now, all of these things are going on at King. People just going in and out, the students doing whatever they want to do, students being told just go to class, you don't have a teacher, but you'll get the grades for just showing up for class. So I just erroneously assumed that this was only happening at Martin Luther King High School. Well, here we go, Kappa. So I got a call from somebody in the school district who pulled up my show and said, everybody is talking about it. So my question to the person was, why have they not done anything at this point? Why is it that it took after 10 months of full investigation, and I probably should have done something before that no one said anything, right? Why are we here? So there was a school board meeting last night, and folks were holding on by the seat of their pants because people were coming to complain and fuss about Kappa, which is a magnet school. Martin Luther King is not a magnet school. You see the difference? And so we're going to keep having this conversation. Pastor Waller and I talked briefly yesterday about Martin Luther King High School. Something has to give, right? And so we're here. Let me just pull up and now let me see. There was an article here. Let me see, again, about the Philadelphia School, the Department of Justice. The school district of Philadelphia's handling of asbestos in some schools were supposed to be the focus of the school board's agenda on Thursday. However, the Department of Justice had other plans. The Board of Education will consider a proposed agreement between the school district of Philadelphia and the United States Department of Justice with respect to an ongoing investigation of the district's asbestos management practices, according to action item added to the school board's agenda late on Wednesday. So they had a lot to deal with. The superintendent had a lot to deal with in that moment. So there's a lot going on there. And then, it went on to talk about Quinta Brunson receives the key to Philadelphia. And, the superintendent was there. The mayor was there. What's her name? I'm looking at her face. Councilmember Gautier. I thought it interesting that Gautier and the mayor sat apart from each other because, as you know, and this again is public knowledge, they're like oil and water in so many ways. Let me see what else is going on here. Israel and Hamas again. Israel has accepted a new U.S. proposal for a temporary ceasefire with Hamas, the White House said Thursday. U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, expressed optimism earlier this week about brokering an agreement to halt the Israel-Hamas war and return more of the hostages captured in the attack that ignited it. The White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, told reporters that Israel backed and supported the new proposal. Hamas officials gave the Israeli-approved draft a cool response, but said they wanted to study the proposal more closely before giving a formal answer. This was written by Associated Press News. there. Let me come on over here because I know Councilmember Phillips will be joining me shortly. Uh, Listen, Andrea. Andrea said all of this disarray, and then they vetoed for a new charter school, right? It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, but I am going to stay on it. I told Pastor Waller I am staying on this, particularly Martin Luther King High School. Kappa is a magnet school and will get the attention it deserves. But MLK, there's a problem there. And so we have to figure out what we're going to do. And as community members, I'm asking you to ask the questions, to write the letters so that these students are not ignored and left behind as a direct result of these children are not. I guess I don't know. I don't know. Are they important enough? So it's funny that everybody is talking about it, yet I don't see any movement towards how are we going to fix this, acknowledge and do something about it. But folks are calling me. So just, and I think the school district is aware at this point that people are actually talking to me about this because they've tried. I've tried. King is again getting ready to lose 2 of their assistant principals, at least one that I know affirmatively, a second one that had only just gotten there in the last year that's getting ready to leave, and some of the teachers that they fought for to be there are leaving. They just can't take it. It's just too much dysfunction. There's no real leadership there, and they're trying to figure it out now. I heard tell that the principal said that, what about us uplifting each other as Black people? I'm down for the cause. Let me tell you, I love my sisters, but hey, A, I got to report what I know is going on. And B, you cannot be down for the cause so much so that children suffer, that they don't get what they need, that they graduate from school as functional illiterates. That's not cool. That is not cool. So instead of asking the question, what about Black women and Black people lifting each other and not putting this stuff in the news, we tried that for 10 months. For 10 months, I literally sat on my hands and said, let me just see how we can figure this out. And nothing changed. Nothing changed. So let's figure out how we're going to do this to support and help these children, because this is untenable, absolutely untenable. So right now, the school district, good morning, Linnea. Good morning, Tammy. Right now, the school district is feeling it because folks are asking. Folks are really asking. Andrea said, did anybody find MLK's principal? So to my knowledge, they said that she has been now showing up more frequently for work, but she's really not talking to anybody. Parents, one parent wanted to talk to somebody about her child, being suspended, and they sent her to the principal's office, and that she never got the principal. So the parents are now calling me and talking to me. So, it's sad, but here we are. And instead of the parents going to, good morning, Winetta Smith, instead of the parents going to the school board or making a phone call down to the school district or sending a letter, they just pull their children. In a school building that can hold 1,500 plus students, there's like 200 in attendance there. And I think the teachers are feeling demoralized too, because they're just not showing up for work. If it's in there, did I ever hear from Monique Braxton? Absolutely not. She did not reach back out to me. So there's that too, right? Alexandra says the children matter more than the window dressing. Where is Councilmember Phillips? Let me see if I can find him, because I only have a finite amount of time with him. Phillips, hold on, y'all. This is live TV. Okay. Ooh. All right, darling. Let's see if I can find. All right. So hopefully he'll be on shortly, because Councilmember, there he is. There he is.
Good morning. Can you hear me well today?
You and I are on this track for the both of us losing our facial. Our faces are both coming down. Look at that. Every time I see you.
Wow.
How are you, sir? Good morning.
I'm doing well. I can't complain. How are you?
I am good. We're talking about Kappa, the magnet school, where they're having principal issues. and one assistant principal who was put on leave because she is using weaponizing the children and the parents and
Mm.
whatever else. And then we're still talking about King. um I need to find out where Cindy Bass's information is. It's an easy look up. I'll find that and invite her to come and talk to me about what's happening at King, because it's just bad. All right.
That no,
So
that's important. I
it's
agree.
really important. When I say the amount of people that reached out to me, I'm like, whoa, how come nobody else talked about it? Why are y'all calling me now talking about this was a good thing? It's crazy. It's
Right.
crazy.
No, no, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Well,
So
go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, well, council has been we recently has advocated for a few things from the school district of Philadelphia. Early college academy,
Okay.
which recently approved as a new charter school in the city of Philadelphia. The school district built school district a board of for the school district of Philadelphia has not approved a new charter school application in 7 years.
In
Um,
7 years. So they approved this charter school?
they approved this one. This is the first time in 7 years, and they're asking that they prove what they said they were going to do in their
Right.
application. Charter
Hmm.
schools are supposed to have higher results than traditional public schools. Even though
Right.
charter school is a public school, they're supposed to have higher results than traditional public schools in terms of academic achievement. And a lot of times, some of these charter schools are not doing that, but
Right.
they look good, from the
Yes, sir. I
outside
was
and
just about to
inside,
say,
but their achievement levels are at the same, if not better. I mean, if not
if not
worse
worse than the
than
Philadelphia School
traditional
District.
public
Yes.
schools. And that's not supposed to be the case.
So
So we're hoping that that's
before
done.
you so thank you for making us aware of that. But before we get into the final days of City Council, the
Yeah.
Department of Homeland Security published a list of sanctuary cities that they are going to now pursue legal remedies and enforcement. Philadelphia is on that list, as well
Mm.
as Bucks and Montgomery County. I'd like for you to speak to Philadelphia, because what the news reported in that article was that the mayor was pretty quiet about it, that she's not said anything. What's happening? What are the plans, if any, that are being made for us here in the city of Philadelphia around the president now pursuing legal remedies for us being a sanctuary city?
So currently, the mayor has announced to all of us on council that the city is a welcoming city, as opposed to a sanctuary city, meaning that immigrants have certain rights to be able to live in prosperity here in our city. The rights are is that unless there's a court order from a judge, um, essentially ICE cannot, go after any particular immigrant
Mm-hmm.
in the city of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
The and then the mayor has asked the school district of Philadelphia to have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
The plan for the school district of Philadelphia for our children is ultimately that teachers and staff are trained
Mm-hmm.
to not allow for ICE to take children outside of the building
Mm-hmm.
without a court order.
Okay.
And so that is the sanctuary part of at least for the school district. In terms of other plans, um,
Well, that's the plan.
they have
That's the
not
plan.
done a large campaign or
Yes.
publicity effort.
Okay.
The administration how um, around know your rights when it comes to uh, immigrants. However, council members, including myself, have worked on utilizing our spaces to publicize to our neighborhoods about know your rights.
Okay.
However, the mayor has the largest platform out of all of us,
Mm-hmm.
and so they've chosen not to. And I think in some ways, it's strategic in some capacity, but it's weird because even though we're being strategic about the idea of not talking about the issue,
Mm-hmm.
Trump is still finding a way to intensify his movement into
Mm-hmm.
the city of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the strategy is, again, it's like the more you talk about it, the more he get aggravated, and he
Right.
tries to intensify his movement. But looks like he's going to do it anyway.
Right.
So
And so,
something else may need to be done now.
right. Um, it's thank you for that, because right now he has slashed $280 million in Philadelphia and the county, right? Trump
Yes.
has, um, with probably more to go. How are you managing that slashed amount of money in the city, or have you gotten it back? Has he unfrozen it?
Mm-mm. No, no, we have not successfully gotten any of that money back. Maybe a
Okay.
couple of small grants. I'm waiting for new reports. I do know one of them they did receive, but we are not. This is not helpful at
Okay.
all. It's really going to impact our budget in the near future. And
Hmm.
here's how. A lot of the federal funds not only go to our school district, but they in which is really a lot what we need a lot for, because our school district is in a deficit over the next, probably starting next year.
Hmm.
They're going to be in a serious deficit, and it's because we normally rely on some level of federal funds, which they won't be rely on. So what does that mean? The
Hmm.
city has to find a way to invest in our schools a lot more steeply, as well
Right.
as our state government. So that becomes with a cost. The issue is that what we're seeing is that, we're about to make this huge investment in housing, which people have been asking for.
Right.
Yet, and then so we're about to so the whole idea of having to take on you know two major initiatives such as the school district and housing is going to be complicated for us. It's literally, I just had a conversation with a friend yesterday about
Hmm.
how we can fix our schools in the city of Philadelphia. And I'm thinking that, the charter school situation conversation takes away about $1.5 billion
Yes.
in traditional public schools,
Hmm.
which is 35% of the school district's budget, which
Right.
is huge.
Hmm.
Um, I think about the fact that we do, once the facilities plan is over, we do need to find a way to have the school district just go full throttle. Even I would have loved a bond just for us to fix our schools, right?
Right.
I mean, it won't get to all of them because most of these schools, for whatever reason, they're costing around 40 to 50 million dollars.
Hmm.
And we have several schools, which is
Hmm.
why I think the conversation that the district is having is like, if we want to get to a larger population of students, we may have to do something else with our real estate with some of these
Right.
schools.
Right. So
So
are they thinking of condensing some of the schools? Is that's what getting ready to
yes, they
happen?
are. They
Right.
are.
Councilmember Phillips, we've been having this conversation for over a decade about the Philadelphia school. Lord, years, just years and years and years.
Yeah.
And one of the things we talked about before charter schools even became a thing was, can we work on making sure that the children get what they need in the present schools that they are in? And it fell on deaf ears.
Hmm.
All the things, the buildings were falling apart, et cetera, et cetera. So much money has gone through that school district, and
Mm.
it's ridiculous, right? And so
Yep.
when the charter schools came, rightly or wrongly, they understood that they were going to be able to make money. Many of them, the charter maintenance organizations, they would get whatever the children were supposed to get coming from the school district, but they would only spend a fraction of that in their schools, and the children didn't have the same. And listen, I am an educational proponent. I know the law, so before you come for me, let me just tell you that what I'm about to say, that
Hmm.
right. So what ends up happening in the charter schools is they don't take on the same things that are like, follow the laws as perfectly as the public schools should. So if a child is a problem in terms of discipline, they put them out the charter schools. Right,
Mm.
in the regular public schools, you have to go through a certain process, and you have to make sure the children get everything that they need, et cetera, et cetera. And so they try to take the children that are the best quote unquote students, and many of them end up back into the feeder schools like Martin Luther King High School, right? Which
Mm.
is their last, whatever that is. And then they're going in and out of the schools and they're not there. We have a lot of issues. And It's going to take a lot of work and it's going to take an incredible amount of change. But if we don't do it, sir, then more people are going to either take their children and put them in charter schools online because they're losing students that way too.
No, no, I know,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah,
No, absolutely. I mean, I just got a report. Now, I don't know if this is true, and I have to still investigate it. That, well, someone told me that one of the charter schools CEOs makes $500,000 a year,
baby.
and I have to check
You
that
need to
because
investigate that. And if you don't want to tell me that publicly, please let me know when you get off
I
the
have
air because
no
I will
clue.
go take a look.
Take a look, because if that's true, that's a problem,
If
right?
you're making $500,000 a year, you need to be leading a school district with
Yes.
over 200,000 children.
Thank you. Thank you. Especially when we're cash strapped for our
Can you
children.
right? Can you send me that information, please?
Yeah, yeah. I have to
Thank
look
you.
it up, but it was
Yeah.
supposedly, so, and this is I was at the school board meeting yesterday, and some individual was yelling, one of the CEOs makes $500,000, $500,000. I'm like, okay, I
Okay.
have to see what this is about. They were
Yeah.
supposed to send me the information showing
Mhm.
that, but I'm still waiting on that. But
Okay.
either or, there is a lot of fiscal management issues with our
Yes.
charter schools. Now,
Hmm.
we approved one charter school yesterday. Great. However, that means that we probably need to cut out a few more charter schools. And I'm telling you why, because some of them are actually not really good schools
At all.
uh, at all. And I'm fine with a few of the charter schools being canceled. But we do want to, we're going to maintain the ones that we have. They're doing
Hmm.
a great job because I guess they're fulfilling the needs of the community and the
Hmm.
kids. Or they're, in some capacity, even if their academic achievement scores aren't as high, there's progress, right?
Right.
So we want to support them as much as we can since they're there, because the whole charter, when we went through our whole issues in the early 2000s, we came up with this concept of getting charter schools, and now we're in it.
Hey, there you
So
go. And for those of us who kept warning them this was coming because they had already gutted Louisiana and some other states, and we were like, "Oh no, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right." And in the suburbs, what they're doing is offering an online charter like option so that they don't take their children out of the school district. So the suburban schools have figured out a way to navigate this. Philadelphia just kind of, we're not creating any more charter schools. 7 years. 7 years.
7 years, seven
Great.
years, 7 years. And so, and just real quickly, I just want to let people know that we're having Wadsworth Days coming back on Saturday,
I
June
saw
20th.
that. I was about to tackle you about that. I was like, why I got to drive down Wadsworth Avenue to see? Is it June
Yeah.
28th?
Yep, Saturday, June 28th on
Mm-hmm.
Wadsworth Avenue from 12 to 7 p.m. We have an adult carnival for like games and stuff for adults. We have kids carnival. We
Mm-hmm.
also have the food trucks, of course, and the retail
Mm-hmm.
vendors. But we also have a lot of live entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna experience Freddie Jackson. But the kids carnival, they got like it's a family affair. They got
I
like
know it is. It
Grim
is a beautiful
Reaper,
day.
animal stuff. I
Yeah, it
mean,
was gone for a while. You brought it back. I'm
yeah,
grateful
yep,
because I
yep.
got
So
to see people that I hadn't seen in a long time.
yes, 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 yes. And I'm glad you was able to can't come last year. And we're having a
I'll be
fashion
there
show
this
this
year,
year
God
too.
willing, and the creek don't rise. Okay, as long as I'm
Yeah, and
alive.
a
Yeah.
fashion show at a margarita garden for the folks. So hopefully we adults love that too.
A
Um,
margarita garden for the folks.
and but yeah, we have two more sessions left in council. What I'm hoping to do the next time we meet is to report on where we are with our budget approval process. Basically, where council members are going to be, most council members are going to agree on in this upcoming budget, and probably
Yeah.
what they might disagree on.
So next Friday, when you come on, it's going to be just you and I. So we
All
can
right.
talk because we only have 2 sessions left and the budget is incredibly important. And I
Yeah.
want to make sure that we touch on the things that matters. How is the budget process coming along now?
It's coming along well. Right now, Council President has us all submitting our priorities for our neighborhood, and then also from things that we've heard from neighbors. But it looks like we're working collaboratively together. We're praying that no one votes against the budget this year, but you never know. So we're praying that we could come to if we're not voting against it, that means we're able to come to an agreement.
Agreement, right.
So we'll see.
Understood. Understood. This
All right.
seems to be a good working council. So kudos to all of you for working well together. I see. I can see that
Yeah.
you all, at least in the public face, that you all, which is what you're supposed to do,
Yeah,
argue
absolutely.
privately and publicly
And
look
I'm
like you're
proud of
working
the fact that
together.
we just got Allen High School funding to fix up his field. So we got to get about 7 more million dollars, and we'll be okay. But we got some
Yeah.
monies to get started.
Yeah.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much, Councilmember
Take care.
Phillips. Have a good
All
one.
right. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye. See, I like see it's succinct to the point. I loved when he said that the mayor is saying that in order for you, for in order there has to be a court order. Specifically with the person's name on it, in order for ICE, they can't just walk into Philadelphia and drag people out. Which is why I think their monies have been frozen. That $280 million have been frozen. But the other thing that they have to tackle with is Larry Krasner. They were working really hard to get rid of Larry Krasner, but Larry again is trending on social media. I saw an article, I think about him in on Instagram, and Larry said, "Listen, they keep talking about the fact that they're going to let Derek Chauvin out of prison." He said, "There's a federal charge, but there's a state charge. The president of the United States cannot overturn a state charge." So he told black people, he said, "Stay home. Don't let them bring you out." He said, because what they're working on is getting black people so riled up. This is Larry Krasner's words, not mine. Getting black people so riled up that they can call out martial law. He said there have been a zillion protests around the country since Trump became president, but because they're white people, nothing is happening, right? They just going on and they're peacefully protesting. The minute black folks start to show up, it's going to be a problem. So he said, "Stay home. Do not be moved." So somebody wrote and said, "Listen, Mr. Krasner, even if they turn over the Martin Luther King statue, we ain't coming. We know what type time it is." I roared, 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 roared. So black folk, and we were concerned about black men in particular, who would show up and come on out and say, "This is not good, blah, 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 blah." They let the police officer go. But Larry Krasner told them, "State rep, I need you to come in here, please. Hold on one second. This is not where I need to talk to you." And I think you forgot. Hold on. I just texted you where you need to come in, State Rep Parker. So Krasner was like, "Listen, don't, stay out of the streets. Stay out of the streets. This is just to frighten you and to make you angry so that they can start to declare martial law. It's the black folk, they're waiting for it to come out." He said that public. That thing got like thousands of hits and shared thousands of times. And so it's a lot going on out here, but you see things when and as you can tell now, black women, they lead in ways you can't even begin to imagine. Because when black women was like, "Yo, you all got this, we're staying home, y'all can go ahead and go protest and do all the things that you've done because we've been doing it for years, we've been talking for you for years, and you keep voting against your best interest. Yeah, no, we're gonna stay home and smoke our cigarettes and flick our fans," right? And so that you can see, and I have been, many of us have been saying for the longest time, use your dollars wisely. Target now has lost billions of dollars. Their stock numbers have dropped. You don't have to come out your house. You don't have to do anything. Just don't spend your money in places where you're not appreciated. That's Pastor Jamal Bryan was interviewed the other day. Now he's taking on Dollar General, right? Walmart is crying, saying they don't want to be targeted, but it is what it is. And so we have said this over and over again. If it's something that's going on and all you have to do is turn off your television, turn off your freaking television, right? We couldn't get that with the NFL piece. We just couldn't get it because I don't know what it is about our cognitive thinking minds. It's something is weird there. I got to go watch my football game. I got to go see. Had we done that years ago, Colin Kaepernick would have made a point, and the NFL would have done something differently because that's the loss of money. People are not watching. It's the loss of advertising dollars, right? But we couldn't get it together there. Finally, folks were like, "Yeah, well, let's just see what we can do over here and what can happen." And we finally figured out that we don't have to spend our money. Wadsworth Day sounds great. Wadsworth Day on June 28th, Charmaine. Wadsworth Day on Wadsworth Avenue. Mercury says, Google says it's unlikely a charter school principal in Philadelphia would earn $500,000 a year. However, it says Philadelphia School District Superintendent earns $340,000 annually. If someone shouted that out from, they probably don't, sometimes when people are upset. Wait. Joanne says, one report I read says Philadelphia CEO charter school head makes $722,000. Alexandra says, exactly. Also, the guy from Chicago that was pardoned on the federal level, he has state charges that has a life sentence. Right. So people have to pay attention. Marguerite says, don't fall for the okey doke, black people. Charmin says, where them fans at? You all are hilarious. Dolores, I hope you can hear us better now because we're there. But I'm waiting for State Rep Darisha Parker to join us on this link right here. And I am assuming that you guys can hear me everywhere now. I was doing a mic check yesterday. I was like, this is crazy. But my mics are working. So all of my instruments have microphones attached to them, which is good. Uh, you know, May is over. June is here. I am going to have I have plenty of parsley right now that I can give away. I have plenty of oregano that I can give away. If you'd like some, let me know. My tomato plants have come in. I planted by seeds. Everything that I'm talking about were seeds that I put into the soil. There was so much rain, everything flew up. I have some onions that are almost ready, and my potatoes look like they'll be ready in another 35, 40 days. So there are things I can't eat all of this stuff by myself. And I have lettuce that is ready to eat. So if you want some lettuce, some butter lettuce, you can have some of that. I planted my callaloo seeds that my sister sent me, so I'm going to do that. But I have fresh thyme that I can give away. I have fresh oregano. I've got plenty of lavender, dry lavender seeds and lavender plants that you can actually make tea, or you can soak it in something so that you can get the fragrance in your house. That garden is yielding all kinds of things. Um, and I have lots and lots of parsley. So come on, if you want some, let me know and I'll make sure you get it. I want to say thank you to the sister that reached out to me a couple of days ago and said that she had this fabulous piece of fabric from I'm gonna pull it up because I just want to publicly tell her thank you. She said I couldn't think of anybody who could do anything with this fabric other than you, mother. Crystal Jones. Thank you, my sister. She sent me a thing and she said, I just want to know if you could. The fabric is from Tanzania. I went to pick up that fabric yesterday. I called Renee Bolton and I said, listen, and I started telling her my vision. She said, you are so damn crazy. Why are you so crazy? But I had a vision about what this fabulous piece of fabric from Tanzania. Thank you, Crystal Jones, for it. Denise and I went to go pick it up and she was like, the other brown crayon. Hey, good morning, my darling. How are you? What's the matter?
Girl, this is you taking me fast. Good Lord.
I wanted to make sure I got you on before the month ended.
You really
Um,
taking me
you're freezing.
fast.
Are you in your car?
Car, and I hope I don't have to. Okay, there we go.
You're good.
Okay. Yep, I'm good.
Okay, all right. So there's a delay with you and I. So, I wanted to have a conversation with you. You had $2 billion of money that the president
Hmm.
unfroze in February. What's happening with your budget now? What are the top two or three issues that we need to focus on now at the state level?
Mass transit and education
Mhm.
and the living wage, not minimum wage, living wage,
Okay. Mass transit.
and
Edu-
also
Go ahead.
education
And
and
living
living
wage.
wage.
Okay. Anything else?
So then I'll give you, I might as well do A, B, C, D. So
Okay.
A would be that we did pass recreational marijuana out of the House.
Mhm.
Sadly, it's in the Senate. It's up to the Senate to reintroduce a bill That's one side of it. We recently had a town hall of skill games. It's not regulated. And the bills are still in the Senate. It hasn't made its way over to the House. Hold on one second. I see it again. I'll keep talking. And what's the other thing you need? Oh, we will the rate.
Whoop, I just lost her. Okay, she'll sign back in. She will sign back in. All right. Marguerite said, "Mic check 1 2 1 2." Monica said, "New Dollar General just opened on Washington Lane off Stanton, where Rite Aid closed down. Really? Hmm. There she is. There you
Okay.
are. You
Okay.
are okay. You are losing your. Are you driving?
No, I'm actually stationary.
Okay. Okay.
I'm stationary.
All right. Let's try
So
this again.
okay. All right.
So you talked about passing marijuana, recreational marijuana, out of the House. The Senate now has it, but do you,
Hmm.
when you say sadly, do you think that the Senate will not pass it, put it into law?
Well, when I say sadly, it's because of the fact that when it got over to the Senate, it died in their committee. Yeah, that's why I said sadly.
So do you know how many millions of dollars Pennsylvania is losing? People
Don't,
driving to Delaware and
girl,
New
you ain't got the.
Jersey.
Yeah. Uh huh. So that would be your Republican senators. Tell them to puff, puff, pass. Shit. I'm sorry.
I never know what's gonna come out of your mouth when you want them to puff puff pass. Okay, all right. So that died in the committee. All
Mm-hmm.
right. What's
Yes.
happening with mass transit?
Well, again, a lot of people get upset with that, but the fact that we have sent three bills over to the Senate, and there we go again. So a lot of this, Andrea, that your hair, I don't want your hair to turn white by waiting for our budget. But the sad part about it is people don't want to hear it, but I have to re-emphasize, and I know we don't go backwards, we move forward. Not voting has consequences. And when we're looking at the numbers, we see how many people did not vote. We are still a one seat majority. The Senate is still in the majority in the Senate, and we are divided. We are a one seat. And I can only share the truth when they don't do their job. I do my job as a lawmaker. And
Hmm.
I told you we did it 3 times and they still have not done it.
Wow. Wow. So you have a one vote lead in the Senate? Is that what you're telling me?
No, no, no. One vote in the House.
In the House. How much? How
Hmm.
many votes do you have in lead in the Senate?
Oh, I want to say they need about 5 or 6.
To turn the Senate to Democrats.
To
So
D.
they,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
okay. Okay. All right. So let's discuss mass transit.
Yes.
What's going on there?
Nothing. I was waiting for you.
Is SEPTA is saying that they are going to have to shut down some of their stations and
Yes.
cancel some bus routes, etc., if
Yes.
they don't get this funding. Can
Yes.
I ask you this? Is it mismanagement on some level at SEPTA, or does it really require all this money? Oh. Okay, okay, okay. I see your face. I see your face. Okay, because I don't understand how we keep feeding money into this thing over and over again. And for a few years, SEPTA employees were calling me privately and giving me information about the gross mismanagement, the people who are at the top, really, penalizing the people in the middle. Listen, I see your face. I see your face. So I'm clear that there is some validity to what I am saying to you. But how do we get SEPTA then to tighten the reins and clean up their own house instead of waiting for people to keep dumping money into them?
Okay, so we can say mismanagement, and that's not helping any of you right now because of the dire
Right.
straits that we're in, but also oversight, also the sad word that a lot of people don't want to be because it's going to be turned against a lot of us is an audit. Also, there's funds that should have, that SEPTA used to give to the school district of Philadelphia that hasn't been done in eons. So
Yes.
over, and guess what? The big thing that people don't want to address, underfunding. So we could take you back, and I know you were in Philly at this time when we had Senator Vincent Fumo, Minority Appropriations Chair of the Senate, Dwight Evans, Appropriation Chair of the House, Shaka Fattah was Appropriation for Congress. We had money flowing from all three different buckets, okay? But when you don't have that right now, when you only have two entities right now, as far as Jordan Harris and Vincent Hughes, and we don't have any connections in the federal government, we have a major hole that we can't fill.
Right.
So that does hurt us in a lot of different ways. So
Mhm.
as I'm pointing figures, and yeah, we could talk about mismanagement, and guess what? Also, I did call them out about that. And yeah, they are doing some hiring freeze and they are doing some major cuts. But some of the cuts that we were sharing, we knew some of them were going to come down a pike anyway. A lot of us just did not want to say. And here's the thing, I don't do scare tactics. When
Right.
you just knew certain things were going to happen, I knew it was
Mhm.
going to happen. But why
Mhm.
share it with you when I don't have when it's going to happen, what area it's going to happen, and how soon? So you just
Right.
kept your mouth quiet because the writing has been on the wall for a long
A long
time.
time. Yes.
But there's some things that, yeah, SEPTA did that I'm still upset with. The money that they were spending on this high speed line from the King of Prussia to that never fruition, another trolley car that they build, electric line. Like there's a lot of things that happen, but you need people who are knowledgeable. And the major thing that I know I'm be fighting with one of my colleagues about, and I've said it publicly, and I told her I did not care that Leslie Richards is your constituent. She should not still be getting paid.
Wait,
Period.
Leslie Richards is still getting paid, even though
Absolutely.
she's moved on somewhere else.
Absolutely. Yes, she is.
Shut the front door. Isn't she hired somewhere else?
I don't know, but she's still getting paid.
Oh, Jesus, be offense. Okay, noted. All right, noted. I got it.
So,
Okay.
I'm not gonna pull out all of the stops when no matter what. Let me give y'all another thing. Somebody just said she fussed at me for cussing. Anyway, I'll be better. It slipped, mother. It slipped. I'm trying to get better with you, but it's when you get me on certain five subjects, the words come out. So I'm trying to be better. So let me also say, in the word of the B, not a million. I need y'all to hear me clear. We
Right.
currently are at a $4 billion deficit. Let me repeat that.
At the state
Four.
house.
Yes, that's our budget, $1 billion deficit. So
Oh
you
God.
started off with, yes, you did start off with Governor Shapiro sharing that certain things got unfrozen, but when you're
Mhm.
at a $4 billion deficit,
Right.
you need every bucket unfrozen so we can
Yes.
make payroll for everything. That's affecting our seniors, that's affecting school, that affects everyone.
So, so the governor did some emergency work to make sure that SEPTA could continue to do what it was doing. It was doing. I see him,
Right.
but I also know Governor Shapiro. He's not just going to keep pouring money into a bucket with a hole in it for no good reason. I hope, right?
Well, here's the other thing that I did learn, and we could check this part out. When the ask that he said that he was able to do, Governor Shapiro, right? That was upon if we had, and nobody realized how much of a domino effect had. That's when we had Kamala and Biden. So when he said that amount of money that he was able to release the funds for SEPTA for that one time, it wasn't going to be ongoing. It was a one time. You still have to get money. You have to get permission from the
Yeah.
feds for that amount of money to be released. Well, now we have criminal in chief and his best friends, and here we are. That's why he joined with other governors to sue.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yes, to sue so that
Okay,
we can, get funding released. So it's not
okay.
just about, and I just have to tell you, and I know people are going to be upset at us. We as lawmakers and overall for this mission for the past, I'll say 2 years, did a disservice by using the S as SEPTA. I would tell everybody it's the word mass transit because it doesn't just affect Philadelphia. It affects
Mm,
Pittsburgh. It affects rural counties. It affects overall.
mhm.
And I've said it privately, but I need to share with a lot of people.
Yeah,
Your representative. Yes, you should be calling me. Yes, you should be texting me because guess what? When we're talking about it, we're also talking about PennDOT. And when I see
Right.
people of color that are being, in certain situations, some of them have lost their jobs,
Yeah.
are dealing with egregious conditions by working
Mhm.
there. We don't
Mhm.
have individuals that look like me that are getting contracts. So if
Mhm.
you're talking about why I'm hesitant and why I'm in the middle, is because of the fact of it's bigger than mass transit. So I did tell
Yes.
the organizers to stop the trains. No, how come you just talking to me in May about stopping the train? You haven't been to me in 2 years. And it's
Right.
not just trains in my district, it's buses too. And
Mhm.
it's also African American, Black, and Brown that are dealing with egregious conditions as they're
Mhm.
being employed at PennDOT. So my
Mhm.
vote is not just for rails, it's not just for
It's a
buses.
bigger issue, right?
It's a bigger issue that blacks can't get jobs, or the
Mhm.
ones that are there are being distreat, or aren't treated fairly.
Yeah.
So understand, for me this time, I do encourage people to email me, or they know how to reach me, to and this is what I recently did. Not too far in your neighborhood, they convened a conversation in someone's home to have this discussion, and they needed to hear. And as my grandfather would say, it was only like four shoes in the room, so y'all know how many people was in that room. Okay, so the reason why I say that is to say is you're going to have to do some heavy lifting with me and understand why. I'm really, I'm torn on this type of a vote. And I just need to be transparent about it. I
Yeah, I
really am
agree.
torn, because
I,
if I can't make sure that African Americans, once they get these positions, and I don't care that people start saying, how come you saying African man? Daggone it, I'm black. Out of
yeah.
202 people, I am the fifth blackest district. So I'm sorry. When you look at the demographics, I have an African American district. I know I do have the United Nations in other
Mhm.
parts, but I'm telling you
Mhm.
now, I'm an African American legislator, so I'm
Mhm.
going to unapologetically fight for black
Mhm.
people. So if anybody's going to start doing emails and text messages and saying she's only going for the blacks, I'm telling you, I'm definitely going to highlight the blacks because I'm black, but I also represent the United Nations too. So let me just give you this disclaimer, because I know a lot of people are going to be upset and in their feelings. But I'm telling y'all now, I go hard for individuals. Why? Because I'm also vice chair of the Legislative Black Caucus. And I'll be darned if people that look like me can't get their feet, gotta always have somebody's foot on their neck. And
Neck.
that's why for me, Andrea,
Mhm.
and I don't care if you call me about everything else, but just understand, when I'm telling you, I'm calling you for, like, Andrea, I don't want to talk on the phone. I want you to meet me at Freedom Coffee, because
Right.
I am struggling. This is the only year in my career that I'm struggling with this overall vote for mass transit.
Okay.
And I'm serious. I'm not playing with y'all. I'm dead serious. I am
Okay.
struggling with this vote. I am.
I think a
If that
lot of
means
people,
if that means I'm gonna be the last one to put up a vote, not sure which way we gotta go. I'm really struggling. I'm struggling.
yeah, but because of you and the Black Women's Leadership Council is how we many of
Mm-hmm.
us learned about the egregious conditions of Black folk
Yes.
at PennDOT and what's
Mm-hmm.
going on there, and how we
Yes.
get the lower level positions. And if we get something that's worth something, then we're targeted until we are forced to move or leave or
Yes.
worse.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why there's a platform for you here,
Mm-hmm.
every third Friday or fourth Friday,
Yes.
however it works itself out, so we can do
Mm-hmm.
this. Alexandra says Senators McCormick and Fetterman aren't worth a damn. And PA State Attorney General Dave Sunday ain't worth a damn either. Those are her words, not ours. Let's get into
Can you
education.
go back? Can you go back to that?
Yeah,
Can we just go back to that?
yeah,
I hear her, and she has every right to be frustrated. But this is what I need individuals to do. It's not saying they're not worth a darn. It's saying that you're going to organize on this platform to make sure that you get an interview with
right.
Senator McCormick, you get an interview with Senator Fetterman, Dave Sunday, that people go to these offices and start demanding what they think is rightfully due to be happening.
Mhm.
We can't just say people aren't worth a darn. We got to hold them to the position that they took office for. So I challenge anybody, and myself included. Yes, I've met Sunday. It's been a minute since I've seen Fetterman, and that is my priority. Before
Mhm.
this summer is out, Rep. Parker has to have a meeting with these individuals. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle I've already met with Sunday, but I got to revisit it. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. If we are all lawmakers, they represent us as well. So instead of being upset, instead of being angry, when I finish with you guys, those one of them is on my to-do list today.
Mhm.
It's going to be McCormick. I'll get to Fetterman when I get to Fetterman.
Mhm.
But I got to do something differently with McCormick, because when they're in charge, then they need to hear from individuals. So
Yeah.
and I'm not poo-pooing her for saying what she's saying.
Mhm.
We have to organize by contacting these individuals that are
Mhm.
in control of the house. That means flood their emails, flood their inboxes, make phone calls. It has to be an organized effort, because guess what?
Mhm.
It's beyond, we do not have that rainy day flood. I just need y'all to know we're
Yes.
flooded. I just
Yeah.
said the B word. Don't forget your thought, because I know you got a question. And if
Yeah.
anybody has any more question, and please tell them, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure your new system out. I'm so used to going to Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
This system that I'm on right now, I can hold on to these recordings into infinity.
Nice. Okay.
Instagram and Facebook removes them after 30 days. So I had
Okay.
to figure it out,
I love
I,
you. And also thank you for and guess what, mother?
well,
People don't say this often, and I think people don't understand. And I never say it publicly, because I don't want people coming in. I like people coming to you with their realness. I do represent mother, but it doesn't mean that the fact that even if I didn't represent mother, I would still be on this platform with you, because I
yeah,
do respect you, the work you do,
thank you.
and it's not easy. So I set my alarm, because I know your time is valuable. I set my alarm because I did not want to be late. So I feel so awful coming on late today, because I
No
didn't know this
worries.
new platform. But we got it. We got it. We got the bumps out the road
Yes,
now,
and we're gonna
and
be all right.
we're gonna be all right. But
We're gonna
but
be all right.
letting you know why I'm nervous now. I'll tell you why. I'm nervous on the 16% of individuals who came out for the primary election. I'm looking at everything right now is going to be in the hands of judges. Everything. Everything. And I'm going to repeat, everything is in the hands of our judges. So
Hmm.
what does that mean? That means we can't have low numbers for November. That
Yeah.
means everything that did not
Yeah,
happen, or
but there
people
was there
did not.
was really, but hold on, State Rep
Yes,
Parker.
baby.
There was
Hmm.
really not a whole lot done to encourage people to come out and vote for the primaries, which shocked the
Okay.
hell out of me. And when I
Hmm.
talked to some of the legislators, they were like, "Well, we didn't know people were sick of us." Wait, what? Make me understand.
And guess what? I'm not going to join the bunch, but we all right now are feeling it. We all can't take a day off, whether I'm running or not.
Yeah.
I'm making a concentrated effort. Whoever wants to join me, if that means we got to be on your block as I'm giving out information in our
Yes.
office, I'll tell people you got to vote. I
Yeah.
don't want people to think while I'm giving them some information about the legislator that I'm going
Hmm.
to talk political, because that's
Right.
definitely not ethical.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to encourage you to vote. I'm
Yeah.
encouraging everybody, when I'm not wearing my legislative hat, giving out information, and I'm your politician. I'm encouraging everybody. We have to retain our judges. We
Yeah.
have to. The attack that's happening under these retention for these judges of Doherty and all of the others is egregious, and we cannot depend on TV commercial. It needs to be boots on the ground,
Hmm.
phone banking, knocking on doors, doing motorcades. So if people want to catch their breath now in May, and we about to hit fresh in June,
Yeah.
fine. But
Yeah.
from June into November, that is what everybody needs to
Has to be
do.
doing. Yeah.
Phone banking, knocking on door, doing motorcade from now until November. We can't wait to launch it in August. It has to be done now. And
Hmm.
you gotta, and guess what? We all cannot have any time off in these roles. So
Yeah.
I can't stop because I'm not running.
Yeah.
I have to continuously do my part and partner with others to do that. Does that mean that Rep Parker, you'll be seeing Rep Parker not just in her district, because
Hmm.
I'm looking at numbers, but you may see me in the county? Yes, you will be
Right.
seeing me. You're going to be seeing me all over,
Yeah.
firing people up. My method this time, I want people who did not vote. So we're going to be looking at numbers, with your BFF Billy, with numbers from November, November
That
of
is
last
that
year.
is my BFF.
Your BFF Billy. I mean, listen,
He's a
you might as well
smart
say
man.
all of his judges won this time. and he's back on the trail again with Kevin Doherty and that team, and he doesn't stop.
If I ever run for office in this lifetime or the next, I'm hiring Billy. I
Okay.
watch him. He crunches numbers. He's not emotional about what's
Okay.
going on around him. He's looking at the numbers. He's looking at what can be done versus where it's impossible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's important. So yes, tell my BFF I said hello. Now listen, Laverne
Yes.
says, where is early childhood education on the list of this unfortunately broke state? Because we're number 42 out of 50 states in terms of
Mm-hmm.
living conditions. That's not
Yeah.
good.
I mean, Laverne, you're right. And again, when you were giving your list of priorities, I just need everybody to know, by me serving on insurance, hello, children and youth, commerce, aging and older adults, and agriculture and rural affairs. I mean, if that doesn't make you want to pull a glass of scotch, all of
Hmm.
those committees and everything that falls under them is being affected right now.
Hmm.
And I don't know what it's going to take, sister, and the other lady that asked the question.
Hmm.
My phone, my email, my calendar should have been blown up from November until
Yeah.
now from
Yeah.
early child care providers.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna affect
But they have,
you
because
as well.
Laverne and her group have been out there asking questions, going to city council, asking at the state level. I just don't think
Stop,
people.
stop, stop. I want you to go back to what you just said. I want you to go back. You
Laverne
said
and
city
her group.
council, city council,
She should.
city
Okay.
council.
They need to come to the state level.
City council has no say and has nothing to do with your early childhood. Everything comes from the state.
Mhm,
Even
mhm,
how you're paid, it comes from the state. It comes from the
mhm,
Department of Human Services. There, that department. So I'm not
mhm,
poo-pooing Laverne. Trust me, I am not. I just need advocates
mhm,
to understand. As lawmakers, understand the branches of government that are making the decisions for your
yeah,
entities now. Say, for instance, your child care provider and there's a broken light or there's something going wrong on that level. Absolutely go to the city council. But when you're
mhm.
talking about the funding stream, all
Yes.
of that is state. It's state and federal.
Laverne says, I promise I encourage them to call you and get you on a meeting. So that she's trying, but she's one person. Um, it's a lot. It's a lot. And
Well, do you want me to give her my number now so
yes,
we can
please.
plan it? Okay.
Yes.
My number to get this, Laverne, is 717-210 1125. I'll do it again. 717
Mm-hmm.
210 1125. That is my mobile work phone.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime anybody wants to reach me, it's
Mm-hmm.
a quick way to get me, because I can get the text message and send it to anybody that needs to be scheduled for this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Laverne, depending on where you are located, whether you're in the 198th district or not, Mother will tell you, I will do a conversation with
Yes, you
you.
will. How come nobody? Forgive me. Ekoromo. Let me speak properly. How is it that you're one of the few that will take any constituent, whether they're in your district or not?
Because it's not about me. It's about being a public servant. And when people come for help, it's not my time to spill civics. And it's not my time to say that. It's my time to give them the service that they're provided. Then alert the person that they vote for of the job that we just served from my office, and then they need to do better. That's my job in all of this. I just want to be also let Laverne know I was not quiet last year when all of the daycares were under attack and they had to wait for their funding. So from June until October, we were raising the roof, making sure that individuals got their checks. So what I shared with everybody who's a child care provider, that's not when your foot should be off
Yeah.
the brake or the pedal. You got to keep in touch with these individuals, because there's daycares that are no longer daycares because they couldn't recover
Right.
from those egregious whatever happened with the contracting.
Yes.
So again, I'm saying to everybody, if you need a conversation with civics, or if you want to talk about advocacy, I am here. I don't work for the state. alone in this fight. And
Mhm.
Laverne, let's get it done. I would love
She
to
so
have a real
Laverne says
conversation with you.
she says, oh, she's excited. She loves you. She says, we just had a day with childcare. We have been in Harrisburg all May, coming in June. We are on everybody's neck,
Mhm.
state, local, and federal. Got it. She said, I saw you Sunday, and because I gave them your email, I didn't ask for it. She said, yes, you will. I still have the video you did for me with the providers when we came last year, and I have been doing workshops to get provide. Go ahead, Laverne. See, now that's taking a stand and doing what needs to be done on
I
behalf of
love
what
her.
needs to be done. She said, no, you weren't. You were right there. Thank you. This is awesome. This is just
Oh,
awesome. She said, thank you
I love
for you and
Laverne.
Rep Young. Yep. So she's doing the work, right? It was President
She
Obama
is.
that said recently that we're in a time right now where we cannot sit on the sidelines. If we don't make a decision, we're making a decision. We're going to pay for every decision and non-decision we make because of the government, the climate that we're in right now. And so to hear
Yes.
Laverne speaking up to see, because every day that I get on the air, I take a risk. I promise you. Right. And I get on and I talk about the things
Yes.
that matter for all of you. Every day that you come on and you talk, whether you're in the public eye or you're working somewhere else and you speak up for what's going on, you take a risk. This is not easy work.
I take a major risk, and I think people don't understand.
Yeah.
Major risk is that I may be primaried next year. Major
Right.
risk that I'm gonna start getting more threatening emails and all of
Yeah.
that other kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm still in the middle, in the fence. And I think maybe before the end of this year, I know I've been saying that for 5. I'm seriously thinking of gun safety classes that I need to start holding for our women,
Yeah. Yeah.
training
Yeah.
for everybody. And I think we need to do it for ourselves because we
Yeah.
are not living in the best of times.
No, we're not. And
And
and and and let me tell you something.
safe, it's about safety.
Absolutely. The Muslims keep every once in a while. I get a text from one of the leaders of the Muslims. He's like, "Let me tell you something. You cannot keep going out here by yourself. Let us know.
No.
We will be there." They keep telling me, "Let us know. We will be there." Because not everybody is altruistic. Not everybody is in. And when I go to events and they see me, they go, "All right, we got our eyes on you. I'm cool." Right.
Let me
But to
tell
your
Pastor
point,
Waller you running alone. I'm gonna tell him Pastor Waller, pull her to the side and tell her she is out of pocket for being alone.
and
If you don't want
I
me to
keep
tell
getting.
Pastor, yeah.
Fortunately for me, most of the places where I go, I see Muslims there, guarding somebody else. And they're like, all right, Andrea, you did not come on now. We need to know. And so I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it. Quite a few of
Okay,
our leaders
okay.
don't go anywhere in the city without, but I keep thinking I'm, lottie dottie and nobody. And so I just go and I blend with the people and I have to be really careful about
I
that.
think you don't understand how the climate, because you've been doing it for so many years,
Yes.
that you're the one that's under a target, and me.
Yeah.
And these are the platforms that they're trying to get censored.
Yeah.
And and the other thing, like, we don't need any kind of letter from any of these agencies saying did you say something egregious, that you were attacking the criminal in chief by calling them the criminal in chief. Now, if they
I
want to
can't
come
believe you
after me
still
for,
call it. I cannot believe you still calling him that. I address
yes,
him as the president of the United
no,
States.
absolutely not. No, I will not. I will not call you. I
You
will
are.
not. I will not call you that. You are the
Yeah.
criminal in chief and your best friend. And you know why I can call you the criminal in chief and best friend? Because you have allowed your best friend to make his own agency so he can get more contracts. That's
Yeah.
criminal in chief, pay to play. Because Elon Musk got you elected, so now you're paying it forward so he can have the whole entire country.
What
So,
when is it when are we going to wake up to this? When are we going
sure.
to realize that this is not normal in the sense that things are so shifted and changed? The judges are not being listened to, the Supreme Court. When are we going to wake up to the fact that we are in danger in this country? Is that ever going to happen? I get that we're
I think,
fanning our fans and all those other things, state rep,
mhm,
but we are
mhm.
in serious trouble.
I think to your point is we are waking up. It may not be in a manner. I think it was Malcolm X that said, this revolution is not going to, maybe televised or not going to be televised. And I think because of Black people, you also got to have an onion approach. You got to peel off
Feel.
every single
Mhm,
layer to feel what's really happening. And we're
mhm.
still private individuals. I
Yeah.
don't utilize social media and say a lot of Black people
Mhm.
are hurting and we don't want to put our business out
Yeah.
there. And to your point, when you got everything coming at you at once and you're still trying to pay the light bills and put food on the
Mhm.
table, you can't focus on the politics or the politrics
Yeah.
because you trying to take care of your family. So
Yeah.
I'm empathetic for our
Mhm.
people, but I still need them to mobilize, because when you mobilize, like the unions, when the unions come to Harrisburg for these major
Mhm.
votes, and the senators, oh, I ain't say African American senators because we ain't got none of that. As far as Republicans now, no, we don't have that,
Mhm.
or a House. But I'm saying, when you mobilize and you do take your groups to the Republicans in the House and the Senate, that means something. That says something. That says a message. Things have changed because people have mobilized. But when you inundate Parker, Cephas, McClinton, Harris, Young, Bellman, like,
Mhm.
we're D's. Or Haywood,
Yeah.
Williams, Tartaglione, Street, Hughes, we're Democrats. You
Right.
don't gotta inundate us. It's the other ones of the party that you really gotta inundate. And I don't mind sharing with you what that actually means. That means making sure you get in touch with the head of their appropriations, their leader, their pro tem. Like, you're gonna have to start inundating that leadership so they know your woes and your concerns. And that means not just everybody from Philadelphia. That means partnering with people from rural counties. That means
Mhm.
partnering with people from Pittsburgh, Lackawanna County, all of these other
Right.
areas, so that they can see a real solid effort. And you know how they feel about Philadelphia. So it's
Mhm.
like you're doing it in a partnership with all of the other 60 something counties, so that
Mhm.
we are making an impact. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I don't like
Yeah.
coming on here giving people woo and woe is me, woo woe
Right.
stories. That's not me. I just rather give it to you truthfully and understand things happen when you're organized, and
Yeah.
things happen when you come in a time frame like now. Prime example, everything we do is not private. The only time it's private is when I go to the bathroom, to the bed, right? That's private, right? That's my space.
Mhm.
But our calendars are posted. The
Yeah.
Pennsylvania House of Representatives session calendars are posted. The Senate calendars are posted. The best thing that happened, it gave me anxiety. I didn't share with you because I knew you fuss at me. They actually had to bring in a fire marshal. Why? There were record numbers of visitors and guests on one specific day. Was it overwhelming? Absolutely. But that just showed me that people want to get in front of their lawmakers
Makers.
to
Yes.
advocate for their feelings and for
Mhm.
advocate for what is
Mhm.
right. So one side, trust me. And if you guys came up on that Tuesday in May, understand, I was overwhelmed. It was a lot of y'all. And
Mhm.
the other thing is, by us being a one seat, and I'm not on here to complain, and, well, I just tell you real truthful, we're a one seat majority, and I can't afford to get sick.
Right.
So that's the other side of this world, because all of these votes matter. So I just
Mhm.
was giving everybody a snapshot of things. And
Mhm.
also, City Council's budget will be passed. I repeat, City Council's budget will always be passed
Yeah.
by your state lawmakers and your federal lawmakers. It's
Mhm.
only 17 of them. It's not a shot. It's not a poo poo. It's less people, so they can get it done faster
Yeah.
than us. But also, the brunt of it, everybody is trying to figure out how to make your best soup
With the little
very
bit that you have.
scarce,
Right.
with the little bit that you have.
Mhm.
um I have been meeting with people, Andrea, but I've been very honest. I don't, my wish list, I put it out there because I know what's going to happen in my lifetime before I retire from this legislature. I want a pool in my district. I want
Mhm.
money for a pool. Um, it's going to happen. There's a museum, African American Women's Museum. I want to make sure they have funds for
Right.
me, to do what they need to do. I want
Mhm.
to make sure our kids have air conditioners and darn and can read, write, arithmetic, cook, clean, and everything else that they need to do. I want them
Mhm.
to be able to graduate and have options. If they don't want to go to
Right.
college, they may want to be in a
Right.
union or a trade, and they can land something. I want them to be flourishing. I want neighbors to understand it's not just the streets department to
Mhm.
clean your block. It's your problem. It's your not problem. It's your responsibility to clean your block, whether you're owning it, whether you're renting it, house, apartment, whatever. I think as a unit, we could be doing things collectively together.
Mhm.
And I tell
Mhm.
the people, we the people are the government. So there's things I understand. People about to yell at me now. We
No,
want to see a
they're
better
not.
return. No, no, no. Here's what I'm saying. They want to see a better return on their investment as relates to taxes that they're doing in the city.
Mhm.
And you're
Mhm.
absolutely right. But let's do a part so we're not taxing a stretched budget
Mhm.
by making it filthier by not
Mhm.
doing anything. That's what I mean. A longer time for
Right.
trash people to pick up trash because you're not doing it regularly and it's like a big
Mhm.
one dump, then that
Mhm.
slows the process down.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
again I just want everyone to be involved. I want people to have their faith in God. I gotta always say,
Mhm.
I tease my pastor. Pastor Mitchell and Pastor Waller are cousins. So
Mhm.
I tease Pastor Mitchell and text him sometimes, please don't shout me out. Because when I come to church, that is my time to be fed, nourished, and
Mhm.
get the armor built on me
Mhm.
when I'm
Mhm.
in church. So I stop sitting in the front. I'm in the back. I don't
You
even
know,
want
it
to.
was
And then one.
so funny. I just said to
Mhm.
Pastor Waller the other day, I'm in church, but I'm back there. I'm in the back somewhere where I
Yep.
just blended in with the regular folk. Because to your point, you're
Yep.
absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. My sister, I
You don't
need
want
you
to
to
be
get,
called out. I
yeah.
don't want to be mentioned. Yeah. What you want me to do?
You're sitting in that car and you've been sitting in it for a while. I need you to get up and move. So I'm going to end this thing so that you can be safe. Okay? I need you to move.
I'll tell you offline why I'm in the car.
Okay.
It's a reason. I'm waiting for somebody.
Okay. Okay. But just be careful. Pay attention to everything that's going on around you. And I'm now 15 minutes past when I should get up. But it's always me and you. Whenever you come on, we get to talk. I need you to continue to do what you're doing. If you want to have coffee, let me know so we can sit down and talk about some
Mhm,
of the issues, because the more I know, the more I can impart to the
mhm.
people when I'm talking to them every week, right? Because there's just some things that
Yes.
I can't always get and I'm not always correct, which is why I take so much time doing research and asking questions before I come out on air about it, you know?
Mhm.
I'm grateful for you, my sister.
But I love this segment. I love this segment because I love people can get the perspective, and you know who you should add? See if you can get somebody federal, because you literally would have three branches of government
I
from
actually have
different
somebody
budget
federal. I need to
pools.
get them. I need to reach back out to them and see. I do have a federal congressperson that
Good.
I can talk to every month. So yes, I'll do that. All right. All right, my
Yeah.
sister.
Is it ours? Is it Boyle?
No, but it's right here.
Please, please, please get it, please.
Brendan Boyle.
Okay. I just want. Yeah, he's our congressman.
I know. I know. I know.
He's your
I
congressman.
know.
Yes. Hmm. Hmm.
I have a story about Brendan.
Okay. Let me just look at the. Okay, baby. Okay, I'm always here.
All right, sweetie pie. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk next month, God willing, and the creek don't rise. Okay. Bye, sweetie
All
pie.
right.
Bye bye.
Thank y'all, and I love everybody.
We love you too, darling. Talk to you soon. All right. This episode of Mornings with Mother is officially over. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Bye, everybody. Bye bye. Woohoo. Bye.